Sairam, dear brothers and sisters, and wish the Divine Swami and all of you a very happy birthday. It's such a joy to be here with all of you and to be celebrating this beautiful festival. I was coming here this morning with my namesake, Sister Aparna Murli. And as we were driving here, it just felt like we were driving to Puttaparthi, all the hills, the warm sunshine, and then we walk in here and we hear Vedam chanting, and I'm just filled with love, Swami's love. The altar is spectacular, and the bhajans were phenomenal, and we started off the day with such a high note with the talk that we just heard about Hanumanji's seva attitude and how we should all aspire to be like him. So this morning, as we were getting ready to get here, there was a book lying down on the table at Sister Aparna's home, and it's actually one of my favorite books. It is called My Beloved, and it was written by Charles Penn. He is originally from Australia, but he lived here very much so in California. And I just picked up the book and I was just randomly browsing through some pages, and then one page caught my attention. And it was so apt for the program today. So I'm just going to share a little snippet. And this page was titled, His Gift to Us. And it was an excerpt from Sanatana Saradi from December of 1968. And one particular paragraph was so appropriate, and it is as follows. On his birthday, we should all count his gifts to us. The list is endless: faith, hope, understanding, compassion, sincerity, selflessness, happiness, love, to name just a few of them. There is one other gift that Swami gives to all of us devotees. This gift is very precious, the gift of friendships. And what does he ask of us? Only to share with him the bliss we reap from these presents. So we're all here in his presence, and this satsang is his gift. So let us bask in this gift today as we enjoy celebrating his loving presence for 98 years in our life. I also wanted to wish all the sisters here a very happy Ladies' Day in advance. It's coming up tomorrow. What a beautiful place to be to celebrate both occasions. When Brother Eric called me about this talk, the first question I had for him was, what is the topic? And he said, life is a game, play it. And I thought, okay, I've never spoken about this topic. So I started thinking about this quote in full. Can we please move to the next slide, please? And as I was reading this quote, I was thinking, why this particular line, from the whole quote, right? It could be life is a challenge meet it could be a life is a dream realize it could be anything. But why this particular line for me? And then it hit me that I'm somebody who takes things very seriously. So Swami was here giving me a hint to lighten up, to have some fun, to see things from a lighter note, and just to be adventurous and carry on with life with that adventurous and fun attitude. So when we think of game, right, how many of you have either played a game or a sport? Can I see a raise of hands? Really? Chess counts, checkers counts, video games count. So now can I have a show of hands? How many of you have played a game? Great, awesome. We have a lot of experts here then, so we don't need my talk then. Just kidding. So when we hear about this word game, some thoughts come to mind, right? It just feels adventurous, brings a smile to your face. There's happiness, there's joy. So Swami wants us to go about with our life with that attitude. That is what my takeaway was when I was given this topic. And then I prayed to Swami. I got here earlier in the week and I was sharing with Sister Aparna that I'm not prepared. Here I am, but I don't know what I'm going to speak over the weekend. And she said, you still have time, just immerse yourself in Swami's love and he will find you the words. And that's exactly what happened. I immersed myself in just contemplating on our beautiful Lord's love and His constant loving, guiding, protecting presence in my life. And He led me to 4 words on this topic. Can we go to the next slide, please? And the first word that came, that was actually put into my conscious, was the word rules. When we think about game, if we don't know the rules, then we don't know what we're going to do, right? So we need to understand the rules first before we play any game. And it's similar with life as well. We need to understand the code of conduct, the foundation, the human values, the rules that we have to play by. What happens if we don't play by the rules? What happens if there are no rules? Anybody would like to take that? Chaos. Yeah, absolutely. Right? There's mass chaos. There is, an opportunity for people to get hurt, right? And it's not pleasant experience for anybody, those who are playing and those who are watching, right? So it is so very important to understand what the rules are and then abide by those rules and play by those rules. If we do that, then we have an amazing game that not just we ourselves, but everybody who's watching the game is also enjoying it. So that is the first word, rules. And Swami says that the rules are meant for us, right? In life, the rules are meant for us, not for anybody else. Can somebody please read this quote? Can I have a show of hand? Would anybody like to read this quote from the screen? Yes, please go ahead.
Why do we need all such controls and regulations? Many inquire whether such regulations are necessary, even on the spiritual path. A small example of this to illustrate this point. A plant does not grow just by watering it. It is necessary to protect it by building a fence around it, thus preventing any damage to it by animals. Once the plant becomes a tree, we would not need any fence. In the same way, we have planted the sapling of spirituality in us. There are so many forces in this world which try to attack it. In order to protect this sapling, we have to have some regulations in the form of a fence. When it fully grows and bears fruit, we do not need any of these regulations. By that time, it would be a total sarva sangha parityagi, total renunciant. But before becoming a sarva sangha parityagi, if you do not practice this discipline, you will make no progress. Divine Discourse, November 21st, 1980. Jai
Thank you
Sarva.
so much for reading that. So it is our own benefit to have these rules for our own upliftment, for our own progress, for our own discipline. And Swami is giving a beautiful example of a tender sapling, right? So we are all these tender saplings that he wants us to blossom into these beautiful big trees. And until we blossom, these rules are necessary to protect ourselves, to make sure that we survive and grow into these beautiful trees. So that was the first word that Swami has given me, rules. Any guesses on the next word? Aparna, you're not allowed to guess, and Brother Eric is also not allowed to guess because they've heard and seen the slides. So any other guesses? What else, when you think about a game, what else comes to mind? Discipline, which is also part of rules, right? Goal or objective, yes. Anything else? Winning. That's a good one. We'll come back to that. Fun, yes, absolutely. Focus, empower, yes. So let's hold that thought there. The second word is roles. We just said, somebody said, named a role here. So roles are very important, right? We should understand what our role is in the game. We should also understand what other roles are in that game. In that picture that you see, can you recognize the roles? Can we go back one slide, please? So there's 3 roles that are in that picture. And anyone can recognize what they are? Player, coach, and referee. Very good. So each has a distinct role to play in the game, right? Each one has a distinct responsibility in that game. The player should follow the rules and should learn from the coach, from the teacher, and should obey what he is learning from that teacher, right? Even in life, we have to obey the teachings of our beloved teacher, Swami, the avatar of avatars, the teacher of teachers, who's come here for us, to guide us, to teach us. So as players, it is our responsibility to obey his instructions. What happens if you don't obey instructions? Absolutely, you get disqualified, right? So again, everything that we do is for our own benefit. It is not for anybody else, but for our own upliftment. So roles are very, very, very important. And the role of a teacher is the most important role, because they are not only guiding us, but they're also constantly challenging us, right? To grow, to become better versions of ourselves. And all the roles that have been placed in our life have been placed only for that one reason of self-transformation. Whether it's somebody who's being very nice to you or somebody who's being not so nice to you. Everything is a lesson, right? It is meant for our own uplift. If we keep that in mind, then this game of life will be joyful. If we think otherwise, we'll kind of brood on things and we dwell on things and we just lose that sweetness of being in the present moment. So roles are very important. Can we go to the next slide, please? So as I was preparing for this talk, I went for a walk. And I was thinking, oh, Swami, you gave me these 4 words, so I think I'm good to go. And then I see this van parked across the road, And it says, if better is possible, good is not enough. So the Guru is constantly challenging you, right? The teacher is constantly wanting you to think beyond what you're capable of, to be a better version all the time, constantly inspiring you, challenging you in that direction. So roles is the second word. I want you to remember, I'm going to ask at the end of the talk what those 4 words are again. The third word is the most important one. Any guesses? Teams, yeah, that's a good one. Practice. Perfect. So the third word that I have for you is rehearsals or practice. Right? Without practice, nothing is achievable. From the time we're a baby, everything is practice. Our speech, learning a language, learning to walk, everything in life takes practice. And with practice, anything is possible. Right? The picture that's up there is synchronized ice skating. It is so beautiful to watch. Everybody is so perfectly synchronized. And it's not easy to, just even move a few steps on ice. I've tried ice skating, by the way, and I know how hard it is. But to see, the players glide so beautifully, so seamlessly, effortlessly, takes so much practice, intense practice. And so much interest and passion and commitment to that practice, uninterrupted practice, right? To get to that point of delivering so beautifully. So practice is the most important thing in a game and in the game of life as well. Swami talks about sadhana, right? The word for spiritual endeavor. And he says it should be uninterrupted, constant, with full heart and full devotion. We have a little audio clip of Swami himself talking about sadhana. Let's listen to it.
జ్ఞానాత్ కర్మ ఫలత్యాగి త్యాగశాంతి అనంతరం. ప్రతి ఒక్కటి కూడాను మనము ఒక అభ్యాసంతోనే మనం సాధించాలి.
You can achieve anything by practicing constantly.
ఒక పాట పాడాలంటే అప్పటికప్పుడు పాడలేవు, అభ్యాసం చెయ్యాలి.
You cannot sing instantaneously, immediately. You should practice.
నడచడానికి కూడా అప్పటికప్పుడు పరిగెత్తడానికి వీలు కాదు, కొంచెం తప్పుడు అడుగులు వేసి తిరిగి నడచాలి.
Talking also must be practiced slowly.
కనుక ఈటింగ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయి, వాకింగ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయి, రీడింగ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయి, రైటింగ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయి.
Walking, talking, writing, reading, everything is out of practice.
అదే రీతిగా కూడాను నీవు సర్వీస్ కూడా ప్రాక్టీస్ గా తీసుకోవాలి.
You should also practice service.
భగవత్ చింతన కూడా ఒక ప్రాక్టీస్ గా తీసుకోవాలి.
We should practice everything for that matter.
ఆ విధమైనటువంటి దీనిగా తీసుకొని కట్టగా సర్వకర్మలు భగవత్ ప్రీత్యార్థం.
Like this, you can dedicate all your activities to God.
So Swami's own words about the importance of practice, right? Everything in life is practice. And he says that you will tumble and fall while you're learning to walk. So there will be failures, there will be challenges. But that doesn't mean we should stop. We should keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And then one day we will realize the goal. So the most important of all these words that we've heard so far is rehearsal, practice. The final one, any guesses? There is a theme here, if you notice, right? Rules, roles, rehearsals, are, results, right? So the next word is results. Are results in our hands? Yeah? Not necessarily. right? We can control the efforts, but we do not have control over the outcomes. But if our efforts are sincere and tireless, then they're definitely going to bring about the rewards that they deserve, right? And I love this picture where we get to see who's in charge of the results here, right? Who's delivering them. So I have a story to share about results. And this is way back from spring of 2007. That was my first job out of college. And I was very, very drawn to management consulting. I just finished MBA and I always wanted to get into management consulting, and that was my dream job. And Swami gave me an opportunity to work in that field. So I was working with this company called Bearing Point, based in Chicago. And I was working there for a couple of years. And I've gotten a little complacent in my job, right? I've received good reviews, and I was doing very well. So I've gotten a little complacent in that role. And then in 2007, our company started seeing some challenges. That was the beginning of some issues in the company. Our CEO quit. We had a new CEO. Some of the senior positions were kind of, leaving the company. Just the beginning of indication of some troubles. But I didn't pay attention to it because I was complacent. So then one Friday, out of the blue, we get on a phone call with the group leader that I was working in. And he says, we are dissolving our group, and we're going to kind of let everybody go. So we had like a couple of days of notice. And at that time, I was on a visa, on H-1B visa. And if you've been on that visa, you know that you'd have to leave the country pretty soon if you don't have another job. So I was in that situation, and I was shocked because I just did not anticipate or see this coming. And I didn't know what to do. But at that very time, my mom was visiting from India. My sister was going to school in Kentucky, and my mom, wanted to see both of us. So she was visiting us. So my mom was with me. Swami makes sure that that we have support that we need at times of need, right? So my mom was there, and she said, "Don't worry, whatever Swami wills will happen." So she was constantly calming me down. But I was like, "Mom, I have a lot of student loans, I need to repay them, and this and that." And she said, "Whatever happens, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure this out." So that gave me a lot of comfort. And then I started thinking, okay, I have 2 days at work before I have to leave. I'm not going to find a job in 2 days. It's impossible. So I prayed to Swami, and I asked him to show me a way out of this situation. Then one of my dear friends from school, she also lived in Chicago. She visited me that day. She heard what happened. She came over, and she said, "Why don't you just write a letter to the head of your consulting division and just ask him for some time, tell him your situation." And she said, "Do you remember he actually came and spoke in our college when we were students? And he was the one who kind of inspired you to get this job. So why don't you write to him?" So I said, "Okay, I'm not going to lose anything, so there's no harm in trying." So I wrote him a very nice email I thanked him for the opportunity to work in that company, and I told him that it was because of him that I joined that company. And I told him about my visa situation and said, all I ask of you is the courtesy of a 2-week notice that I feel any employee deserves. Can you please give me 2 weeks so that I can start looking for a job? And I didn't expect, that he would even reply to my email. I just thought it's a trial, right? But you won't believe it. Within 15 minutes, I got a response from him. And he said, I'm very sorry to hear that this has happened to you. And I will work with the Human Resources Department, and we will get you a 15-day, extension. So I thanked him for that. And Swami gave me a lot of strength. Brother Niranjan talked about unleashing your inner Hanuman, right? So he gave me that kind of strength that I needed at that time. And I just went all out, and I started applying day and night to different companies. 15 days, it's not easy to get a job. But I started applying. I started, day and night. I sent like maybe 500 applications. I was pinging everybody that I know. And I was working super hard. I thought, at least from my side, there should not be any deficiency in effort. So I put all the efforts that I could possibly put. And then I got a few interviews, and I was attending them, but nothing was materializing. Right? It's too quick for any company to give you an offer. So things were in the pipeline, but there was nothing in hand. But I kept going. And something beautiful happened in the meantime. People in my company that did not know me at all were actually rallying for me. They heard about my situation through some sources, and I would get really nice messages every day saying, hey, we are with you. Can you send your resume to this person? Can you talk to that person? So out of the blue, so many people would reach out and give me all these contacts to reach out to. So I started applying more. I started meeting more people. All I would do from, morning to night was just reach out to people. And I did this for 15 days. I still didn't have a job. And I was getting close to that 15th day. I didn't know what to do. I prayed to Swami again. And I said, Swami, I'm doing the best I can. I don't have an offer. What do I do now? And then I get another idea. I have 15 days of vacation that I have not used for that year. So I'm entitled to take a payment for unused vacation or use that vacation, right? So again, I write to the head of the company and I say, you've been extra kind to me. You've been very, very generous. I have one more ask of you. And I said, I have these extra 15 days of vacation that I have not used. And I heard from HR that they are going to do a payout of that duration. Instead of doing that, can you keep me on payroll for another 15 days? That would be an immense help. Can you please do that? He replies immediately, and he says yes. And I was in tears. That kindness and that support and love that was pouring through so many people that did not know me was just Swami working through all those people at that time. So he gives me another 15 days, and I keep at it. I work, day and night. I flew to New York for some interviews. I came to Boston. I was all over the place. Anybody would call, I would just go. I was so desperate because I felt like I didn't want to depend on my parents. I want to pay off my loans on my own and be self-sufficient. So I finally landed with an offer within 30 days with another consulting firm. I was not very happy with it because somehow I didn't like the kind of policies that they had within the area of consulting. But I thought, okay, it's a short compromise. I'll have to just work there for a few years until I can figure things out. So I thought I'll just compromise and take this job. And I told my mom, I told my sister, I told my dad, I said that it's not ideal, but it'll keep me in legal status and I will be employed gainfully. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it. So I have to return my laptop, my badge, everything at work on that Friday. So I was sending my thank you notes to everybody, thanking them and expressing gratitude for all the support and help that I received. And I sent a note even to the head of the company and thanked him. And then, as I was writing the last email to send to everybody in my group, I get a phone call from my boss, the guy who fired me. So I thought, okay, he's calling me to ask if I was returning my laptop and everything. So I just picked up the call. He's a good guy. It was out of his control, right? The whole group was being dissolved. He didn't have anything against me. So I picked up the phone and he said, so what are you doing? I said, I'm writing my last thank you note and then I'm going to go to the office and drop my stuff off and see everybody and come back home. He said, how about that? And he started laughing. And I thought, this is so insensitive. Here I am so emotional, writing my final thank you note and goodbye note, and this guy is laughing on the phone. And he says, why don't you trash that note? So I said, excuse me? And he said, yeah, you heard me right. Why don't you trash that note? And I said, okay. And he says, Aparna, you won't believe what happened. You just achieved a miracle. And I said, what did I do? He said, there's another group in the company that's based in the UK but has operations in the US, and they're doing pretty decently, and the head of that group wants to hire you. And I was in shock. This was unheard of in the history of the company. Anybody that was let go was never hired back. It was pure grace that this happened. And he said, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody else got rehired. Here you are. And he said, you don't have to return your laptop. Go celebrate. Do what you want to do. And I just started bawling on the phone. I just didn't have any words. And then, 2 days later, my sister has a dream. Swami appears in her dream and says, your sister worked so hard. She worked so hard. And he said, I wasn't happy that she was compromising on her job, so I decided to change her fate and give her another opportunity. So, so the results are, the results are truly in His hands. He can change our destiny any which way He wants, if He sees our sincere effort and if we play by the rules. So I was very, very grateful that Swami did this for me. And then, I decided, okay, I should not be complacent. It's great that I have this job, but I should still keep looking. I should, find another job. Swami did this for a reason. he gave me the wisdom to think that way. So I started looking for a job, and then I landed in my current job, which I love. I've been here for 15 years, and I just love what I'm doing. I love the people. I love the company. So I landed in this job, and I took this job up at the end of 2007. And then in 2008, there was a huge financial crisis. The stock market crashed, and the company that I worked for previously, Bearing Point, went out of business, and tens and thousands of people were out of jobs in a very bad market, and they were not getting placed. So even though Swami did this, it was for my own good. That gave me an opportunity to actually be alert and look for another job and find something before the market crashed. Otherwise, it would have been much more difficult, and I would have been out of status, and I would have been in a very bad situation. So I'm truly, truly grateful. Whatever happens for our own good. We may not realize it when we are going through it at that time, but in hindsight, we know what Swami's plan has been all along, right? He knows the past, present, and the future of every one of us, and He knows what is best for us. It may be a bitter pill when we have a fever, but we need that bitter pill at that time, and He will give us that bitter pill so that we can become better. So with that, I come to the conclusion of my talk. I have a little poem to share with you that was inspired by Swami, and that actually became the topic for this talk. If you could please show that, I would like to read that to you. The title of the poem is the title of the talk, Life is a Game, Play It. I was invited to speak in Region 8 for our beloved Swami's 98th birthday. The topic I was given was Life is a Game, Play It, and I prayed to him for guidance on what to say. He could have given me any part of the quote to speak on, but he knows what I needed to ponder upon. Life is a game, play it had a more fun and joyful note when compared to the rest of the quote. It seemed to me as if he was trying to convey that I need to lighten up and accept things happily as they come my way. I smiled and told him that I got the cue. He laughed and assured that he will always give me what I need and come to my rescue. I know that every word of his is true, so I felt grateful for his constant presence through and through. He brought my attention back to the talk that was coming up in a day or two, and rules, roles, rehearsals, and results were the 4 words he pointed me to. I asked him to elaborate and help me understand each of these words and their significance in the context at hand. Rules set the foundation, framework, and code for every game, said he. Without them, chaotic at best, everything would be. Learning and understanding rules is the first step in the game. Providing a safe and enriching experience for those who follow them is their purpose and aim. Roles are meant to teach lessons, challenge, and help us grow. They help smoothen the rough edges and make the character shine and glow. Rehearsal or practice is the key to excellence, which does not always equate to success from a worldly sense. Results which is winning or losing, are numbers on a chart. It is the learning and personal transformation that sets a player apart. Keeping these 4 words in mind, play the game, treating success and failure as the same. If played in the spirit, the game will be fun and be filled with joy that not just the player, but everyone else can also enjoy. I thanked him from the bottom of my heart for his inspiration and his constant loving care, and for giving me this opportunities to learn, reflect, and share. Thank you, Swami, and thanks to all of you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Sai Ram.